Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today is the latest installment of my weekly Senate predictions. My last video did pretty well for my channel. Hopefully this will do the same. But no real need to preface this. There's some changes obviously from my last video. If there weren't changes from my last video, I wouldn't make it. Um, there are I believe 4 total changes in where states lie, whether they flip sides or not. Um, but yeah, I think we should get started. Alright, so first off, we have the likely Democratic states. Joe Manchin is going to win re-election. I debated about putting this in the safe column, but I don't think it's quite there. It's going to be a solid margin. It's going to get called pretty early on, but I think he will win re-election. Also, Democrats re-election, Jon Tester will keep his Senate seat in Montana, mostly due to, well, partially due to a not so great Republican challenger and a whole bunch of categories. The incumbency advantage obviously is going to help him. Now let's go from the likely Democratic to the lean Democratic column. Still in the lean Democratic column is Nevada. Jackie Rosen, I believe, is still on pace to take the seat. Then we have the other leaning Democratic seats. Indiana moved from tilting Democratic in my last video. Joe Donnelly is doing better in polling now, and that's what is making that change how it is. Before it was pretty interesting, but now it seems like Joe Donnelly right now would come away with it. Also, and now this one's a flip, Tennessee, I've been holding out for a while because of the undecided vote. More polls have come in, and the undecided vote is a lot smaller than they were. Like before, it was like 20%, and I'm thinking, okay, they'll probably come in Republican. Phil Bredesen is winning by an average, I think, of 1.6%. And if they voted today, I believe that Phil Bredesen would take the seat and make it Democratic. Now let's go Republican. Texas, Beto O'Rourke is making this competitive, which in my mind is a win for Democrats because this shouldn't really have been a close race. However, they're making it a lot closer than honestly I think it should be. So that alone is a pretty good sign for Democrats, especially about the future of Texas. But for now, Ted Cruz is still led in every single poll so far. So I don't really see Beto O'Rourke winning. Also, keeping in line with how I've called it every single time, North Dakota I still have in the lean red column. Not Claire McCaskill, my bad. Yeah. Democrats, they have a conservative Democrat up there, Heidi Heitkamp. But she's not as bipartisan as some people. Like Joe Manchin has voted with Trump like 62% or something, which is pretty surprising considering he's a Democrat. But yeah, I don't really think that we, yeah, I don't think that right now Heidi Heitkamp would retain her seat. Let's go to the tilt Democratic. This is how I called it in my last video. Arizona, right now would still go Democratic. Recently there was a poll that came out that showed the Republican ahead by 1%. That could potentially be what it actually is, but right now that looks like an outlier. So we'll have to wait and see for more polls to come in about that. And if it consistently shows Kyrsten Sinema being down, then I could potentially flip it. But for right now, I think it would stay tilt Democratic. And a flip for my last video, Florida. I think that as it stands right now, this would make the Republicans have the majority. Florida would become less bipartisan. It's like I showed in my Trump's approval rating video. President Trump's approval rating in Florida is 4% right now, which is very surprising. Rick Scott has been doing a little bit better in the polls. I think he's up 1.7 now. I want to say that's what the number is. Not 100% sure on that, but overall his margin is increasing. And the final state, Missouri, right now would go to Josh Hawley of the Republican Party. I have been very, very hesitant. Like, I've been hesitant to keep Tennessee red. I've been hesitant to hesitant to flip Tennessee blue. I've been hesitant to flip Missouri red. However, like, Missouri's going to be the race to watch by my accounts. There are only 3 polls in. 3 polls that are any time recently. And in the poll, Josh Hawley winning by 2%, a tie, and a tie. And it's not like there's a ton of undecided, but with a tie, there's enough undecided. And I think what would happen in Missouri would be similar to what we saw in the Rust Belt in 2016. The undecided would go for Trump's party. Except in Missouri, I think they are more likely to go for a Republican. I know I said this about Tennessee, and this is kind of making it ironic. However, Claire McCaskill, her approval rating is starting to go down. She's not really that bipartisan, if I'm being honest. She doesn't really, like, there are people who vote both sides. She doesn't do it as often as other people do, especially Joe Manchin or Heidi Heitkamp. But yeah, that's my current predictions. I would have the Republicans and Democrats staying at the same number, and that would be the electoral, the Senate map. Missouri and Florida would go completely red. Indiana would retain that blue. Kentucky doesn't even have a Senate race. Tennessee would gain some blue. Arizona would gain some blue. Wisconsin would gain some blue. Yeah, you get the picture. Alright, well, I'll see you all soon. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe if you're not already. Alright, see you later.